Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Awards Gambit. I hope that everybody had a great weekend and that we are all enjoying the last days of summer. Today, we're going to continue with our 2023 Emmy predictions, and we're going to talk about the guest acting categories. So, that is the guest categories for comedy and drama. These races tend to be a little bit harder to predict because there's no precursors for them. There's no winter awards that do the guest categories. So I feel like they could be a little bit more random. And I feel like they could be a little bit more surprising than the ones in the supporting and the leading categories for acting. But why don't we go ahead and get started and go over these. So our first category that we're going to do is guest actor in a comedy series. The nominees are John Bernthal for The Bear, Luke Kirby for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Nathan Lane for Only Murders in the Building, Pedro Pascal for Saturday Night Live, Oliver Platt for The Bear, and Sam Richardson for Ted Lasso. This is a great lineup here. Luke Kirby is a previous winner in this category. He won for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel a few years back. Sam Richardson was nominated last year for Ted Lasso, and Nathan Lane won last year for Only Murders in the Building. So we got some previous winners, some previous nominees. As for who I think is going to win this category, I'm going to go with Pedro Pascal for Saturday Night Live. The episode that he hosted for SNL had some great viral moments on it. He was hilarious. He's had such an amazing breakout year this year. What with The Last of Us and him being known as like the internet daddy, and he's just embracing it, and he's such a charming man, and I think that they're gonna reward him in this category. He's also nominated in lead actor in a drama series for The Last of Us, but I think that one might be a little bit harder to win, and he's nominated in narrator for a show called Patagonia. But I think that they're going to give it to him in this category just because he did so well in that episode of Saturday Night Live, and I think this is a great place for them to reward him. Like I said, though, these are hard to predict, so I mean, they could just name check Nathan Lane, he won last year, or Luke Kirby, who won a few years ago. I don't think the other three will win. I think the Bear guys will kind of split the vote. And also they're going to be both eligible again next year for season 2. And I don't think Sam Richardson's going to win. So right now, Pedro Pascal, I think, is going to win. Up next, we have guest actress in a comedy series. The nominees are Becky Ann Baker for Ted Lasso, Quinta Brunson for Saturday Night Live, Taraji P. Henson for Abbott Elementary, Judith Light for Poker Face, Sarah Niles for Ted Lasso, and Harriet Walter for Ted Lasso. This is a good lineup here. I feel like they kind of were doing some name checking with Ted Lasso because they love that show. And these 3 performances from that show were great, but I just feel like they weren't very sizable. Like they all had very small parts. I don't really remember much about any of them. Judith Light in Poker Face, great to see her get in, especially for a smaller show that wasn't in the Best Comedy Series category. Great show. I love Judith Light. She's a great actress. Quinta Brunson, Saturday Night Live. Good to see her there. And Taraji P. Henson for Abbott Elementary. Love it. As for who I think is going to win this category, I'm going to go with Taraji P. Henson for Abbott Elementary. And I say this because I think that the 3 Ted Lasso women are going to split the vote, and like I said, there's no real standout out of the 3 of them. I don't think Quinta Brunson's going to win because her episode of Saturday Night Live wasn't as memorable as Pedro Pascal's. And I think that she has a better chance of winning Best Comedy Actress. And I don't think Judith Light will win because Poker Face is a bit smaller. I think the nomination is the win for her. So, yeah, Taraji P. Henson was just great in Abbott Elementary. She played Quinta Brunson's mom. And she was really playing the part. She was so funny. She was like hitting her up for money, but then like there was a sentimental, emotional aspect to it towards the end of the episode. And Taraji P. Henson has been delivering incredible work in both television comedy and drama for years. And she's never won an Emmy before, so I think it would be so amazing to see her up here winning this category. So I have her for right now. Next, we're going to talk about Guest Actor in a Drama Series. The nominees are Murray Bartlett for The Last of Us, James Cromwell for Succession, Lamar Johnson for The Last of Us, Ariane Moayed for Succession, Nick Offerman, The Last of Us, and Kevin Montreal Woodard for The Last of Us. Great lineup here, completely dominated by The Last of Us and Succession. So we can't say that vote splitting is much of a factor here because there's multiple nominees from both shows. So this one should be an interesting category. Who I think is going to win right now is I think that Nick Offerman for The Last of Us is going to win. And I say this because when the episode of The Last of Us that Nick Offerman is in came out in the winter, everybody was talking about it, raving about it. It was one of the best, most talked about television episodes of the year. And Nick Offerman is someone that's been giving incredible supporting performances in television for a long time now. He was so great on Parks and Rec. He was never recognized for that performance. And this performance was kind of a different sort of performance for him. He's not as much of a dramatic actor. He's more comedic. So for him to give this beautiful, heart-wrenching, dramatic performance in the show is absolutely so amazing. And I think that the Emmys are going to recognize him for this performance, and he will get his first Emmy. And I think Murray Bartlett, because he was also in this episode, they played lovers, and I think that you could say a lot of the same things they said about Nick Offerman, about Murray Bartlett, but Murray Bartlett just won last year for The White Lotus, and I feel like he's played more of these roles before, and I just feel like Nick Offerman was more the standout, generally speaking, and I think that he would win. I don't think anyone else really can win. Maybe James Cromwell for Succession. He gave a great performance in the funeral episode, Church and State of Succession. And he gave up and gave a eulogy about Logan. And he was nominated last year, and I think for season 2. So if Succession's just kind of sweeping a lot of the acting awards, he could definitely take it. I don't think Ariane Moayed had enough screen time this season. He was barely in it, I feel like, and nothing really that memorable. And the other two Last of Us actors, I think the nomination is the win for them. So right now I'm sticking with Nick Offerman. I really would love to see him win, and I think a lot of people would love to see him win the Emmy for this category. Last guest acting category we'll talk about is Guest Actress in a Drama Series. The nominees are Hayam Abbas for Succession, Cherry Jones for Succession, Melanie Lynskey for The Last of Us, Storm Reed for The Last of Us, Anna Torv for The Last of Us, and Harriet Walter for Succession. Great lineup here. Again, only 2 shows, Succession and The Last of Us. So for all the guest acting in the drama categories, it is just Succession and The Last of Us. This one is definitely tough, because if you think about vote splitting, it's really hard to kind of navigate who would vote split with who, because there's 3 from both shows, so you can't really think about vote splitting too much as a factor, but it's hard to not think about it. But for this category, I'm going to go with Cherry Jones for Succession. And the reason I'm picking that is because I feel like they're just going to name check her. They love her so much. She won for The Handmaid's Tale in 2019 for a very small performance. And she won for Succession in 2020 for a great performance. It was a little bit more sizable. This year, she was only in the first episode of the season, but she gave a really great and compelling performance with some screen time opposite the Roy children. And I think that they're kind of just like, I feel like sometimes with the guest categories, the Emmys are a little bit lazy and they just kind of check off who they like the most. And so I think that they'll do that with Cherry Jones. Kind of reminds me of like a few years ago when Claire Foy won for The Crown. She was only in it for like 2 minutes. And they just like love The Crown and they love Claire Foy. And that's kind of what this is reminding me of. So I think Cherry Jones will probably win this. I think in second place, I would say Melanie Lynskey for The Last of Us. Because her episode of The Last of Us was really well reviewed. She got good notices for that episode. And Melanie Lynskey could win the same way that I said that Pedro Pascal could win, because Melanie Lynskey is also nominated in lead actress in a drama series for Yellow Jackets. I don't think she has as good of a chance winning that as she does for guest. So she could win for guest actress in a drama series. She's never won an Emmy before, so that would be really great to see. But I'm still going to stick with Cherry Jones. I also could see Harriet Walter win. She was nominated 2 times before for Succession. She's also nominated for Ted Lasso. I just feel like she wasn't in it a lot. She was like in a few scenes in the last 2 episodes and just didn't have a lot of screen time. So that's why I think Cherry Jones has a better chance than her. I would love to see Hayama Boss win because she's been so good all 4 seasons of Succession. And she was so great in that episode with the memorial service. I feel like it was like kind of funny too. I just don't think that she has the name recognition that Cherry Jones has, so I don't think that she will win. And the other 2, The Last of Us ladies, Storm Reid and Anna Torv, I think the nomination here is the win. It's great to see them recognized in this category. So right now I'm sticking with Cherry Jones for Succession. So those are my predictions for the guest acting categories for the 2023 Emmy Awards. Like I mentioned in a previous video, the Emmys were postponed to January 15th, 2024. So we still have a ways away. I think I'm going to do one more Emmy prediction video in the next few weeks. And then I'm going to take a long break because it's not until January and voting will have already ended in the next couple weeks. So not much is going to change. So I'm going to take a little break from the Emmys. I'll probably do more movie reviews and maybe some Oscar predictions. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments what you think about these guest acting categories and what you think of some of my opinions on who's going to win. And stay tuned in the next few weeks. I'm going to be posting more movie reviews, Oscar predictions, maybe some TV show reviews. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Email listener questions to awardsgambit@gmail.com. And if you have any Emmy questions, there's only going to be one more video about the Emmys that they could be answered. So get those in while you can. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys. Have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys. Take care.